Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your
hosts,
Mike.
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic.
You know, every time I think that the lies have stopped, more pop up.
Lies?
You had, a couple days ago, you had Biden in Georgia ranting about how horrible their voting situation is there. But did you know that in Georgia, they have more voting access and it's easier to vote than in New York, Delaware, Pennsylvania, you know, all the blue states where they're moaning and groaning?
I also heard that in the election, Donald Trump voted from the White House in Florida.
Yeah.
That was spectacular.
And then there was
I really
video
liked
showing
that.
him actually voting in person in Florida. So that's kind of interesting too.
Well, the White House
you know.
isn't in Florida. So
Exactly.
that's
But I'm just
the
saying
most
he was
alarming part.
he was trying to say that he voted from the White House, but his vote was cast to the state of Florida. That's what he's trying to say. And
Yeah.
I know he didn't word it that way. But did you know also that we don't have a Vice President Harris, we have President Harris?
I was going to say, I can respect Joe Biden not knowing whether or not Trumpster voted by mail or in person, but I cannot respect Joe Biden thinking the White House is in Florida.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, huh? But it's frustrating to me because they're talking about, you know, voting rights being blocked, and like they don't want to have you. That side doesn't want to have you have voter ID because they say, you know, that it's racist. These laws are racist, and then they in turn say, well, that's because people of color can't get an ID. What, are they stupid? Is that what they're trying to say? Because they're not stupid. And as far as I know, when you rent an apartment, do they all live in some place? Because they must. And they must have had to show ID when they got their place.
Right.
So I don't understand this whole issue of people saying it's racist. It's not racist. And in fact, then on top of that, they want us to go around showing our vaccine status everywhere we go.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular.
So why
You mean the vaccine status you had to show ID to get?
Yeah. So why is it that we're supposed to be able to show our vaccine status, but we can't show an ID to vote? It just makes no sense. But the lies are just continually piling up. It's as though the way Joe Biden has been acting, it's as though he won by a landslide, like a Ronald Reagan versus Walter Mondale kind of landslide. And that just didn't happen.
Didn't Ronald Reagan win every state?
Except for like 2.
That's spectacular.
I mean, like, just shut up. You know, you don't have that kind of mandate. You don't have any kind of mandate. None. So, you know, go fuck off. And with that concept,
You feeling a little blunt today?
we are in that mode again of our favorite type of episode, and our fans are slowly becoming extremely happy with this segment. We're going to do another Am I the Asshole? So take it away.
Well, are you feeling particularly blunt today?
I'm always blunt.
Okay, well, this, my friend, I picked just for you. All right. My female 35 sister, she's female 35, her sister's female 27, started dating one of those brutally honest guys a few months ago. He can be quite rude and make backhanded comments about me and the family sometimes, which is bothersome, but my sister says he's not malicious, but it's just the brutally honest time, and we should get used to it. I visited my parents' house to celebrate my sister's birthday, and my husband couldn't come with me because he was busy. After the party, we all sat down for dinner, and my sister's boyfriend said it was weird that my husband and I don't have kids, despite being married for 6 years. I was shocked that he brought this up, but I gave a short answer stating it's because of infertility issues. He asked on which side, and I didn't want to answer, but my sister says it's on my side. I got uncomfortable as he looked at me for a second and said, maybe not having kids now is a good thing because he thought women over 30 might produce defective babies due to age.
One thing I want to interject here. People are nuts, man. They get asked a question and they, quote, don't want to answer. Well, you know that I now know what the answer is. I know which side it's on. If you don't tell me, oh, it's on husband's side, I know it's on your side. It's the only reason people don't answer.
Alrighty then. I told him it was none of his business, but he said that he was just giving his honest opinion and that's all. I, in return, told him, while maintaining eye contact, trust me, if I wanted an asshole's opinion, I would have farted. Literally everyone at the table burst into laughter, and my sister and her boyfriend were stunned. For a few seconds later, her boyfriend excused himself out, and my sister followed, and then sent me a text after they left saying that I was mean and disrespectful towards her boyfriend and insulted him maliciously just because he stated his honest opinion. She also said I ruined her birthday by being petty and making her boyfriend the joke of the night in front of the family. I didn't respond, but she demanded an apology via mail as soon as possible. Mom agreed that I should have apologized. Mom agreed that I shouldn't have said what I said and that I should have just ignored him, knowing how he is. Who's the asshole?
You know what? Being a blunt person is being a blunt person. And if you know that about a person, I mean, I honestly, I'm just going to put it to this way. Just my own opinion. I don't think either person is the asshole, actually. I think that he's a blunt person. And as a blunt person, he should be able to take blunt feedback. And being called an asshole, you know what? I've been called an asshole 10 million times, probably more than that. And you want to know how much I care about it? Not a fucking bit. I don't care 2 inches about it. Nothing. You can call me any name in the book. Don't call my wife names. Don't call my kids names. Don't call my dogs names. I will kill you. But you call me something, I don't give 2 fucks about it. I literally live by the motto, what you think of me is none of my business. Think about what that means. When it's none of my business, that means I shouldn't pay attention to it at all. So, okay, I'm an asshole. Sometimes I'm an asshole. And if you call me an asshole, I should just take it and move on. I shouldn't give 2 shits about it. But if this guy, one thing I will say, this guy's going to get all butthurt and start, I mean, you know, this is not just the sister that's demanding the apology. He wants the apology. Well, you know what? Dude, grow up. Grow a pair and stop acting that way. If you're going to be blunt and you're going to speak your, quote, honest opinion, end quote, then be prepared to be called an asshole. It's pretty simple.
Well, see, okay, you are a brutally honest and blunt person. We know this. If somebody asks you a question, they're going to get a blunt answer. Whether or not it's the answer they want is irrelevant. They're getting a blunt and brutally honest Mike's opinion answer, okay? Okay. I don't think this person is brutally honest or blunt. I think he's rude. Because asking somebody why they don't have kids yet and then saying they think that somebody over 30 is going to produce defective babies is rude. Why do you have to say that? If that's your opinion, you keep that shit to yourself. You don't comment on somebody's reproductive abilities. It's rude.
So he should lie?
He should say nothing.
That's lying.
No, it's saying
it's lying
nothing.
by omission.
Why did
he doesn't express his opinion?
No.
If he doesn't express his opinion, he's lying by omission.
Nobody brought up her infertility. He brought it up. He decided
First of all, he didn't know she was infertile. He asked on which side is the problem. She mentioned that there was infertility. So let me ask you a question. What happened to don't ask the question if you don't want to hear the answer? Same thing. Don't make the fucking comment if you don't want someone to comment on it. If you don't want someone to talk about your infertility, then don't fucking bring up your infertility.
Why is he making comments on the fact that a couple doesn't have children? It's not his business.
He merely asked. It's weird you don't have children after 6 years.
Which is a rude thing to say.
And no, it's not. It's an observation. And she should have literally just responded, because we're not interested in having children. Simple. It's done. There's nothing left to say after that. But no, she has to say there are infertility issues. And you over here want to say he shouldn't have commented about it after that. She shouldn't have brought it up. She should not have brought it up in the first place. He shouldn't have brought up them having children. I completely disagree with you.
Okay, because it's appropriate at your girlfriend's birthday party to bring up whether or not her sister has kids or not. That's inappropriate.
He didn't bring up whether or not she had kids.
No, he didn't. Weird that they don't have them.
It's weird you don't have them.
Which is bringing up
that's not a why don't you have kids. He just said it was weird. He thinks it's weird. Is there a problem with him thinking it's weird they don't have kids?
It's a rude thing to say. Anyway, so
you know what? And sometimes when you're blunt and honest, you're rude. That's just part of it.
Fine. You can feel that way. So I think, anyway, what he said was rude. All of his comments to her were rude. Her comment back to him was also rude. So they should both just get the fuck over it. She shouldn't be mad at him for being rude because she got her revenge. And there's no way in fucking hell, after being as rude as he was, that he should be mad about her comment. He has no ground to stand on.
Let me ask you a question.
None.
If we had an issue that was personal and it involved something that other people might observe fringe elements of, i.e., like in this case, they don't have children. That's a fringe element. He notices this.
Uh-huh.
And let's say that the problem was, I can't get it up. And that's why we don't have kids, because I can't get it up. Are you literally, when someone asks you, it's weird that you don't have children, are you going to say, oh, it's because Mike can't get it up?
No,
because if you did, I'd probably be pissed at you for a long time.
I would probably say something right there. No, it's weird that you have 17 extra hairs in between your eyebrows.
And that's a better answer. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. You control what comes at you by your own reaction to the situation. And it's no different than not asking a question you don't want an answer to. You know what? There's a lot of things I have questions about. A lot of things. But I don't ask the questions unless I'm prepared to hear whatever the answer is. And see, that's the problem in society in general. We ask questions expecting the answer to be a certain way. We ask a question expecting the other person to support us. Or we'll say, hey, you want to hear something funny? And then the other person says, sure. And then you tell it to them and they don't laugh and you get insulted because to you it was funny. But that doesn't mean it's fucking funny to them. So why should they have to fucking laugh? So don't ask the question. Don't get involved in the conversation if you don't want to talk about it. It's that simple.
Sounds like you're swinging to the side that she's the asshole.
No, I don't think she's the asshole. I don't think either one of them is the asshole. He was blunt and went where you say he shouldn't go. And she also went where she shouldn't go. The sister's right. She made him the joke of the evening. Now, here's the thing, though. He shouldn't give two shits about it. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to be a brutally honest person, just get the fuck over it.
Let me say this. If you and I were in that exact situation, and someone did that about me, I'd have had a joke back. I'd have given it back to them. I wouldn't go crawl off into the outside world and hide because you opened your mouth, bro. You set yourself up for that failure. You set yourself up for that.
He said he was brutally honest, not that he was intelligent.
Well, but this is the thing. This is my own personal feeling about being brutally honest. You know, our friend Deborah, she always says this, that there's a difference between being rude and being brutally honest. And I think that if you make it a habit of speaking your mind and you do that consistently, you're not rude. You're just brutally honest. But if you take offense by what someone says in return to your brutal honesty, then you're being rude.
The fact that he took offense really does imply that he's just a rude person, not that he's a brutally honest person.
He's a snowflake at the best.
Because actual brutally honest people are like you. If I said something was brutally honest to you because you would ask me a question, you'd be like, okay. I might
actually say, ouch. But that'd be about as far. I've done it before, but that's about as far as it goes. That's as far as it goes. It's like I'm brushing my shoulders, people. It's like, ouch. That's it. That's it. Who cares? Fuck you. Who cares what you say about me? I said something about you. You can say something back. You know what? That's the point. You need to be prepared to take it. Just take it. And that's the thing, like, you know, we started off talking about politics and how they lie. And that's the thing that always makes me chuckle is you got people on one side, you know, let's call them party A and party B. Well, party A is in power and they start doing crazy stuff. And party B, wah, they're doing this. Wah, they're so corrupt. Wah, you should vote them out. Now party B's in charge. They do the exact same thing as party A. What is party A's? Oh, by the way, when party A was doing it, they were like, no, we're not crazy. We're not authoritarian. We're just doing what we're supposed to do. We're doing it for the good of the country. Then when party B does it, now party A is going, wah, they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. That's corruption. And party B, what are they saying now? What do you mean corruption? It's not corruption. How do you come to the same situation, but because the other side's doing it, you whine about it? It makes no sense. You know how that should be handled? Both sides should just shut up and deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like it? Start your own party. Grow it from scratch and take over the country. It's pretty fucking simple.
So when I read through the comments on this Am I the Asshole, there's somebody who made a funny comment that agrees with us that nobody's the asshole, and then somebody who has an opinion that we didn't even consider. So this person says that she should reply to her sister with, "Sorry your boyfriend's feelings were hurt. I was just being brutally honest. It was just a joke. Can't he tell?"
Fair enough.
That seems like a perfectly appropriate response. And then there's another subset of people who think the sister is the asshole. Because A, she shouldn't have disclosed her sister's medical information to somebody who's going to be brutally honest and then say more things about it.
That's a subtle aspect, and one I did consider. But the question was not whether the sister was the asshole. The question was whether this sister or the other sister's boyfriend was the asshole. So I'm answering the question.
I think if you had to pick any asshole in this situation,
it would have to be the girlfriend of the guy that was quote brutally honest.
The one whose birthday it was.
Because she exposed the answer, and that's another point. She shouldn't have said that there were fertility issues, but when he asked which side. It was probably, I don't agree with you that he shouldn't have asked, why don't you have kids? But he shouldn't have asked about the fertility issues. Like, at that point, who cares whose side it is? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Is he going to not talk to one of them because they're the infertile one? I mean, what exactly is the point in that? That makes no sense. It has nothing to do with him. It's none of his fucking business. But once the question was asked and she said nothing, didn't answer, then the sister, who's his girlfriend, should not have revealed the information.
Right. She should have just let her sister handle it.
I feel like this. You get to decide what other people know. I get to decide what other people know.
Right.
I tell you everything. You tell me everything. But when it comes down to telling other people, that is not that. I tell you all the time, this is between you and me and nobody else.
Right.
Then that means that's my very clear way of telling you, you are the only person who needs to know about this. So please never bring this up in conversation with anybody else. And I would expect, and here's how that would work for me. I would expect that if you were having a conversation with your dad on the phone, you would not mention it. If you were talking to one of your friends, you would not mention it. If we were, and that's without me there. Now, if we are there together and we're out to dinner with friends, you will not mention it. If we're in a private party with friends, you will not mention it. That's how it works. I get to decide what part of my private life gets revealed to other people, and you get to decide what part of your private life gets revealed to other people. And it even comes down to this. I feel like when you're a couple, if you're having issues, I see nothing wrong with you talking to one of your really good friends, or me talking to one of my really good friends, or you talking to your dad about it. I don't have anybody like that to talk to about it, so I would just talk to one of my really good friends, who are few and far between. But the point is, you pick the one person and that's who you talk to, and you keep it, and you let that person know, I'm talking to you about a sensitive issue. I don't want you to spread this around to anyone else. It does not leave where we are right now. But after that, you have every right to say to me, look, I don't want people to know we've been fighting. I don't want people to know this about our problems that we're having. And you know what? I have to respect that because you are my partner. I am not supposed to just do whatever the fuck I want with your business. And it comes back, this is where we're very consistent. I always fucking say when we talk about people's rights, we get to be us in our own house. But as soon as we step outside and we're interacting with other people, and by the way, people, interactions don't mean you have to talk to the other person, shake their hand. It means they're in the same space as you. So that means it's why I support all the no smoking rules around places, because I don't want to smell cigarette smoke. I don't like cigarette smoke. It makes me sick to my stomach. And it's not and I'm not a smoker. So since I'm not a smoker, I don't want that in my space. So when we're out, so you want to smoke all you want in your car, in your house, you go for it. But as soon as you're in public, you need to respect my wishes as well. And we meet in the middle. And that means
that dude at the drone field who was smoking in front of the no smoking sign.
There are things you compromise on, and there are things you collaborate on. And, collaborate would be some problem solving issues, but compromise is just, you don't like X, you don't do X. It's that simple. I don't understand why people don't get that. And in that situation, she broke that rule by opening her mouth and giving away her sister's business.
Right.
And the key takeaway from that is when someone is asked a question directly and you know the answer and they choose not to answer, don't fucking take it into your own hands and decide you're gonna, I mean, at the least, what she should have done, hey sis, do you mind if I answer the question for him?
Right. The sister could have gone home and told her boyfriend later what the answer to the question was. She didn't have to announce it at a party.
Exactly. And dude, I do this in meetings when we're on meetings with our staff. Mm-hmm. And I'll say to you, is it okay if I tell her that story? And it's about innocuous things.
Right. So I have a second one if you want it.
Go for it. We have time.
All right. So the title, Am I the Asshole Because I Ate an Entire Cake by Myself in a Single Day?
I saw this one today, but I didn't look at it. I just saw it as I was scrolling by.
Yesterday was my...
You know what's funny? I used to read those all the time, but now that we do this, I don't read them anymore because I figure at any moment you're going to pull one out and I won't be able to genuinely react to it. So, and this is interesting because had I not done that, we would be in a situation right now where, I did the wrong thing.
Because this one's only from 13 hours ago. Okay. Yesterday was my 27th birthday. I haven't had a birthday cake for many years because my wife felt that it would go to waste considering it's just the two of us at home. So she would just buy 2 slices of cake, one for her and one for me. This time, however, I wanted a cake for my birthday. I've been feeling down lately and thought that maybe a birthday cake would uplift my mood. So I asked my wife if she'd bake me one of her famous plum cakes. She usually makes it for girls' nights and family potlucks, etc. She agreed on the condition that I'd have to finish the entire cake and not waste any of it, because she'd only be able to eat 1 slice of it. I happily agreed to her condition, and she got into baking the cake. Yesterday morning, we cut the cake, and she had a slice for breakfast. She then said I'd have to finish the cake by the end of the day because she didn't want any cake leftovers.
Wait a second. No, go ahead. I'll approach this later.
Just hold your shenanigans.
Just go.
I managed to finish the rest of the cake during the course of the day pretty easily. When my wife came to know that I had finished the cake, she started scolding me and calling me greedy and a pig. She said she didn't think I'd be such a glutton and finish the entire cake all by myself. She also said she'd never make me a cake again. Am I the asshole?
The wife is 100% the asshole. 100% the asshole. She made an agreement with him and then shamed him for following through on the agreement. And let's be real. When they negotiated, she didn't say he had to eat it in the same day. She just said he had to eat all of it.
Right.
Then she changed it to he has to eat it all in the same day.
Right.
So he goes and he eats it all in the same day. And now she's pissed off and she thinks he's a glutton. Shut up. You made him do it. You told him, if you don't do this, I'm not making cake anymore. And now you're not going to make him a cake anymore?
Right.
Who does this? Like, that's a marriage that's going towards divorce.
This poor guy wanted a cake for his birthday because he's feeling down, and his wife literally shits on him. Come on now.
All
That's
over him.
Literally a shitstorm. Not even figuratively. She pooped garbage at him. And I wanted to read you this one because I made you a birthday cake.
Yeah, it was just
for you to eat.
It was my 27th time being 30, and I just had my 30th birthday again.
And I left you the whole thing to eat.
She made me a cake, and there's a piece still there. It's for you. I'm not eating it.
Oh, I don't want it anymore.
Well, then someone's got to eat it because I'm not eating it. But the point is, she didn't tell me I had to eat it all, or she wouldn't make me another cake. And then if I ate it all, she most certainly wouldn't say, "Well, now you're a glutton and you're a pig." I mean, it's kind of again back to the whole being consistent. It's a theme we have here all the time. And that's not consistent. You can't tell somebody that they have to do something and then when they comply, you get mad. It's we've talked about it in terms of sexual relationships where they say, "Oh, we're going to have an open marriage." And then the first person to go bang someone else, suddenly the other person's all butthurt. Well, you agreed to it.
Right. I made you an entire birthday cake because I love you. And I knew you wanted
just part of a birthday cake.
Well, hear me out here. Just listen. An entire birthday cake, 2 layers, filling in the middle, all the frosting on the top, because I love you.
It was the best cake I've ever had, actually.
Wow, that's really nice. Anyway, if you didn't finish the entire cake that I had made you, next time I might just make you a half of a cake. Make 1 circle, cut it in half, fold it, just make you a half of a cake. Because it's wasteful to not eat the entire thing. But I'm not going to shame you for eating or not eating the entire cake. Come on, It's your birthday. Do what you freaking want. There's no harm going to come to you for eating an entire birthday cake unless you do it weekly.
Yeah.
Once a year, man, you do you. and find a new wife for your next birthday, okay?
That's what's going to happen.
Because you kind of need one.
They're headed towards divorce because that's a marriage that they don't understand one another very well. And like you would think that she would understand that he was feeling down.
Right.
And especially like, don't forget, let us not forget, normal custom was for her to bring 2 slices of cake. Right. One for her and one for him. And he specifically said he wanted a whole cake. Now, first part of her being an asshole was forcing him to negotiate with her. Why is he negotiating with her? It's his damn birthday. He should get what he wants.
Well, and if she didn't want to make him a birthday cake, she could have bought him a birthday cake. I realize he wanted a specific cake that she was going to make, but if she was like, no, I don't want to make you a birthday cake, he could have easily went and bought one for him.
Totally
it's
agree.
his birthday.
I totally agree. And that's why I say they're headed for divorce, because she's completely wanting things her own way and only her own way. And he's going to eventually give up on that. It's sad. So she's definitely the asshole. Like that. What were the comments? Did they think she was the asshole?
100% think she was the asshole, and also pointed out that the poor dude was in a no-win situation. He was either doomed if he didn't finish it or doomed if he did.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said. She negotiated with him, and if he hadn't eaten it all, she would never make him a cake again. So he ate it all. Now she's never going to make him a cake again. So it seems to me like she used that to never have to make him a cake again. That's really what it seems like to me.
Okay, consider to yourself that I put you in this situation, okay? You are the man who is a glutton for eating his entire birthday cake right now. And you went to Reddit. And Reddit validated you up and down. You are not the asshole. This bitch over here, she's the asshole. Would you send her the link to the Am I the Asshole thread where everybody said?
Yes.
That's what I would do too.
Yes, for sure. I mean, she needs to see it from other people's perspective. I mean, it's like I was watching Kitchen Nightmares on YouTube, and this guy kept insisting that his food was great. And Gordon kept telling him, your food's crap. Like, it's really bad. And you know what's funny? His staff told him his food was bad, but he wouldn't listen to anybody. So what did Gordon do? He parked him in a car, and he put a listening device. And then Gordon wore a little microphone, and he went out and he talked to people. Hey, have you ever been to this restaurant? Yeah. What did you think of it? Food was terrible. It was disgusting. Every last person. It was gross. It was disgusting. I hated it. It was bad. And you can't tell the owner because the owner yells at you. That changed the guy's attitude instantly. Gordon tried for 2 straight days to change his attitude. He wasn't listening. Soon as he heard the feedback from other people, it suddenly becomes clear. And I think sometimes human beings, we need that. We shouldn't, but sometimes we need that. We need that assurance that other people feel that way, that our partner feels or our friend feels, because I kind of live by the motto of you can count on people to do one thing and one thing only, and that's think about themselves. So if people are only thinking about themselves, they're going to always paint themselves to look better. And I think we have a natural tendency for that. I mean, we've talked about like in business meetings where someone did something and it needs to be fixed, and they want to explain to you why. Why do you think they're explaining to you why? Because they want to justify what they did.
Yeah.
They want to show you that they may have made a mistake, but it's a reasonable mistake. And did anyone say it wasn't a reasonable mistake? No, they said, the house is on fire. I don't care how it got on fire. Let's put the house fire out before we discuss why. You want to tell me why? Tell me why later. And that's something that I refuse to deal with anymore. I will never again deal with that. I won't deal with people not answering the question that I ask anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of, what color is the sky? Well, the paint on the wall is white. Did I ask you that question? I'm not going to ask again. I'm not going to continue the conversation until you answer the question I asked, and the question. And there's a reason for that. A lot of times when you ask questions, you're inquiring, you're probing, you're trying to find out where's the flaw, where's the mistake, where's the issue. But if you're going to ask the question and they're going to answer some other thing that wasn't the question, you can't solve the problem. It's impossible. You cannot solve the problem. And bottom line, you got to be consistent, people. I don't care if you're the biggest dick on earth. Always be the biggest dick on earth. Don't be a dick sometimes and be super sweet other times. That is just not the right way to be. And those are the people who generally no one wants to hang around with. You know what? When someone knows that a blunt person is coming to their party, they're prepared.
Right, you work yourself up for it.
But if sometimes the person's blunt and sometimes they're a pushover and you don't know what you're getting, that's like uncomfortable and you almost don't want them there.
There are people that we've had dinner with in the past. I have to psych myself up for the dinner because I know what that person is like, and I know that there is a specific way I have to interact with that person or shit's going to go down.
Yeah.
I have to psych myself up for it.
Totally. I mean, that's just part of life, right? You prepare yourself for the situation you're about to be in. So we got lying politicians.
Yep.
We got whiny, political parties who cry wow 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 when the other person does it, and then when they're doing it, it's the right thing. And then you got people like these two assholes, like you got I actually have changed my mind about the first one, and you're not wrong. The sister dating the guy is the asshole. She should have kept her mouth shut. She caused the whole thing.
Right.
She's the reason that the joke came out.
Right. So she shouldn't be, if she had just gone her own way, gone home, and not sat there demanding an apology, she just contributed. Maybe she's not the asshole, but acting like a child now, just go away.
And then telling your husband you're not going to make him a cake because he ate all of it by himself. I mean, what, did she want a second piece? Could she not text him and say, I know I told you to eat the whole cake, but please leave me a piece? I mean, what's wrong with people like that?
Right.
And here's the other part about that bothers me. You made me a cake. Mm-hmm. You busted your ass to make that cake. Did I hear you complain?
No, I'm just proud of myself. I think I outdid myself.
I haven't heard you complain, and you worked hard. I've not heard you complain. You did not complain. You did not wow, wow, wow. You know why? Because you're a person who understands. Yeah, you're a person who understands that you're doing it for the other person. Right. You're not doing it for you. You're doing it for the other person out of the goodness of your heart. It reminds me of when I used to volunteer for PTA, and people would be like, well, I didn't get any recognition for the thing that I did. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the kids. So realize and stay focused on what your purpose was. And you know what? You might say to me one year, I can see it coming when we move to Vegas. Someone's going to be in town that you want to see that I don't like. And am I going to say, I don't like them? No. If you told me you were craving sushi, hell, I'll take it a step further. You could tell me you were craving fish from a place that I know doesn't have anything but seafood that I don't like. I'd take you there because it's what you want. And I wouldn't complain one bit.
You know what else? Because we're us and we interact in a specific way, I would never expect you to do that. What I would want, if I'm craving this fish from this place that you hate, why don't we order takeout from the fish place and takeout from another place and just eat it home?
Ultimately, that would probably be the solution that we would do. Right. But my point is, I would take you there.
What it took to get me what I wanted, and I would do the same thing for you because we're champions.
We both do that for each other. We do things that the other one wants to do because the other one wants to do it. Now, thankfully, a lot of the time, we have a little bit of interest in it, at least.
Right.
But I'm sure there's been times where there's been no interest, but you still do it because the main thing is to make the other person happy.
You mean like the reptile show? When you said you wanted to go to the reptile show, I was like, reptiles? Really?
Then you enjoyed it.
And then I was like, well, I think chameleons are kind of cool, so all right, this is going to be fine. Whatever. If it's stupid, maybe we won't do it again. But we went, and it was the only part I didn't like was the other people. Everything else was cool.
Right, it was too crowded.
The chameleons were rad. There was like other lizards that were neat. There was a giant iguana. But you know, when you said you wanted to go, a reptile show was not my jam. I think they're creepy. But I had a great time.
And you'd go again.
Right.
But that's the point. We've always operated on the principle of I make sure that I'm doing things for you. Mm-hmm. In turn, you're making sure you're doing things for me. So rather than asking the question, what have you done for me? We just do things for each other.
Right.
And it makes things much smoother. And let's be real. If you love somebody, that's how you want to do it. You don't care that they didn't do it for you. You do it for them. Right. And eventually what happens, it's worked this way every time with us. You reciprocate. In some way, shape, or form, you reciprocate. It might not be right away. It might not be until the next holiday, birthday, whatever, but you reciprocate. It's always something that you appreciated and you reciprocate. And I do the same thing. And that's how you have to treat people. But that's all part of consistency. And I know people are probably saying, what the hell does this have to do with anything you've talked about? But it does. It has to do with everything because it's the basic way you should treat people. You know, it is kind of funny that I'm super blunt, and unfortunately, a lot of my interaction with other people is through written word, and sarcasm doesn't go over well. I have learned, though, that people online now are using like /s to show that they were just being sarcastic. And that's helped a little bit. It actually has, because people who know what it is suddenly realize, oh, he's being sarcastic. I get it. And they kind of get on your side and pump you up. But I'll say this. And I have one last thing I want to mention before we go.
Because I'm getting sleepy.
I think that it's interesting to me that people online dislike me, but when the same people meet me in person, they fall in love with me. And that's because I'm a genuinely nice person. But I was going to add to you, I read you that thing yesterday about that thread about the live stream thing, and it was branded the wrong way. And the guy was very passionate about his feelings about it. And the damn CEO of the company chastised that guy. That's not how you act. You have to remember that no matter what, the customer is always right. You have to treat that customer with a certain amount of respect.
And if they're not customer, right, they deserve to be heard.
Right. And the customer wasn't cussing at him. He wasn't rude. He merely expressed his opinion. And I feel like another person got in there and made some comments. And I think that the CEO seems like the type of person, just from what I read through there, that he's given that some thought. So with that, I'm out of things to talk about. I ranted about some stupid people. We got into a disagreement about whether you should ask a question or not. But ultimately, we came to the same conclusion, and that's pretty typical of us. So whatever.
Now we can go to sleep. Good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.